Who's that coming down the track? Who's that coming down the track? It's a mean machine in red and white. Mean machine in red and white. Ain't nothing finer in the red. Ain't nothing finer in the red. When the drunk are marching straight to bed. Come on,
What's up, y'all? This is John and Caleb back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. Normally, you would be able to find us live on Millions on Thursdays. We are going to get back to that just in the next week or so. Had some stuff going on tonight that made me not able to get home in time to get that set up, but aiming to be back on that next week. We are going through the best games of week 11. That is the week that we are on. You are allowed to take a moment of silence, pause, cry a little bit. It's fine. I did earlier. Um,
4 regular season games left at most for
yeah,
whatever team you root for.
yeah, kind of wild. But obviously we got that game in Stark Vegas. But before we get into it, how have you been? What are you drinking?
I have been pretty good. We have discovered a new app uh, that when we read books to our child, will listen to us and produce sound effects and different things.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we have discovered a book series. Like there's one about a cool bean, and it's all like talking fruits and vegetables. But as you're reading about the cool beans, it plays the instrumental to Dr. Dre's The Next Episode, and
I
it
I need a recording of that.
yeah, it's pretty funny. And yeah, other little things like that. Another one has still DRE in it too, actually. Um,
Love that.
so that's the one about the bad seed. So, but yeah, it's got all kinds of books that we already had in there with sound effects, and we've been having too much fun with it. My wife literally just made a big order on thrift books, just of books that she found on there that she wanted to try.
Oh, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the good time we've been having. I am drinking more sherbet punch because we made too much of it for Halloween. We got to get through it. So how are you doing?
Good, good. Went and played a little disc golf earlier, and normally I do on Thursdays, but probably not for the next few weeks.
Hmm.
It just runs into recording time, kind of thing. And but um, I lost my train of thought. Speaking of books, fun little fact here for all of you cheapskates like me. Um, every single one of the Harry Potter books is audiobooked on YouTube for free.
Well, that's
I
good to
am
know.
I am almost through the fourth book in like the
Nice.
last 2 weeks. So
I might have to do that because I've been wondering. I haven't read the books since I was like 13 maybe when the last one came out, and the day it came out I brought it home and read it within like 12 hours and didn't go to sleep so I could read it. So I would be curious to know how the storytelling holds up now that I'm an adult. I've seen the
um,
movies a handful of times since then, but have not read the books again.
I think I read them in I read the last one right after it came out. So I'm not sure what year
Mhm.
that was. Um, but I haven't read them
Yeah.
since. And I can tell you the books are better, but the first two and a half, you're splitting hairs. The first two and a half books, and I say two and a half because like halfway through The Prisoner of Azkaban, it's almost word for word the same. Like
Yeah.
context changes in a couple of spots, and that's about it. So like it just kind of is what it is at that
Yeah.
point.
But
But once
the
you get
Chamber
in,
of Secrets movie eliminated arguably the best part of the book, being
all
the
right,
Death Day party for
that
nearly headless
okay,
Nick.
yep, I and Peeves not being in any of the movies is
Yeah.
disappointing. But 4, I will say 4, even after listening to the book and I read the book, it's still my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Big Goblet of Fire movie fan, but the book is still better. Like
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
the
I will
book
say
is better, but
five
the
has always
movie is
been my
still great.
favorite book, but yeah, 4 is
Yes.
definitely my favorite movie. I just wish they would have done something with the hair before they started filming.
Well,
But
and
you know,
there's a lot of unnecessary conflict in the movie that's not in the books.
hmm
Like it between the three of them. And we're getting this is not a Harry Potter podcast. We're getting a little too much into it. But and honestly, the reason I got started into listening to podcasts years ago was because with the work that I do, I'm mostly by myself
mm,
and do a lot of driving. Like I got my oil changed on Monday and have already driven 700 miles. Like I drive a lot. So I'm not I started listening to podcasts and books because of how often I'm in the car and working by myself. So that to tie it in a little bit. But BYU and Texas Tech. It is the first non-SEC game we've talked about in a minute, but it is the linchpin for the bottom half of the current playoff poll.
yeah.
And if you've checked the playoff poll, which I'm sure you have by now because it's absolutely insane. Um, and
0 group of 5 teams, y'all. What?
no group of 5 teams. And uh, what's up with Notre Dame? Like,
Yeah.
like
Even cast okay, look, I get it. I get that they're on a 6-game winning streak against a bunch of nobodies, but like and look, I'm no defender of Miami. I love the spot that Miami's at in these rankings. But Miami's got the same record and they beat Notre Dame head to head. That used to matter to the college football playoff committee.
well, and here's the thing: it matters in spots. Like they got Georgia 5, Ole Miss 6.
hmm
Texas 11, Oklahoma 12, when arguably Oklahoma's been the better team all season except for that one game, right?
Yeah.
Um, Virginia is over Louisville,
Over Louisville. Yep.
right?
Who is over Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Now, I mean, Southern Cal beat or lose to Michigan earlier this season? I don't pay enough
I
attention to either team,
I actually don't remember myself. Let's
but I do know Michigan beat Washington, and
mhm.
they're ahead of Washington, right? But how?
USC did club Michigan like a baby seal.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. So head to head matters quite literally everywhere except
Except the team that's got the big NBC TV deal. Huh.
yep. Um, you know, but I will say, this game we're talking about, we can complain about these playoff rankings forever and ever and ever because Georgia
They're
Tech at
awful.
17. Like
Golly.
Georgia Tech at 7, you put Georgia Tech as a one-loss team. Speaking of the lowest ranked one-loss team,
hmm
um, Georgia Tech at 17 has two options to get in the playoff: beat Georgia
Yeah.
and maybe get in that large bid, or win the ACC. To be 8-1, regardless of where you are playing, 8-1 is impressive.
Yeah.
And they've been punished for playing in the ACC. Like, yeah, you didn't punish Notre Dame for
Mm.
losing to the only two decent teams they've played.
Yeah. You ain't punishing BYU and Texas Tech for the conference they're in.
But Georgia Tech is punished. Georgia Tech with the same record as Virginia, 3 spots behind because Georgia Tech lost last week and not week 2.
Yeah.
Okay, it's insane. And this is one of the few times that I have looked at a playoff poll and not understood the logic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm going to take this chance to talk about our poll because if you would like to be a voter, send us a message. But also, I think our rankings are outside of
100%. They are better.
Outside of Indiana being at 3 because somebody keeps voting them at 5 every week, I don't
Yeah,
understand that.
I don't get that either. I have them at 1 in my poll at this point, and
Hmm.
defending national championship thing be damned.
Right. When you beat higher ranked teams than the number one team, have the same record, and you beat those teams away from your home stadium, and you beat them by a larger scoring margin, that tells me in every metric that you are better than said team.
Hmm.
But y'all can tell we don't doctor the polls because I'll complain about my own. I don't think Indiana should be number 3, but
Yeah,
it makes more sense. We still have BYU 8 and 9, but Georgia Tech has a one-loss team is 10,
yeah, makes sense.
right? Notre Dame is at 15 because they made it all the way out of the rankings and had to work their way back.
Yep. Speaking of making their way all the way out of the rankings, we weren't cowards. We removed Tennessee from
Yeah,
the top 25.
because how in any world do you have Tennessee at 25 as a three-loss team?
Now we do have Notre Dame ranked above Miami, but in a way that makes sense and in places that make sense. We don't have Notre Dame in the top 10.
No, 100% because Miami has lost 2 games because of their quarterback play recently. Like Notre Dame continues to look every week like a better team. Miami continues every week to look like a worse team. But um, here's what I don't understand is that Memphis is 8 and 1, 8 and 1 with a win over Arkansas, right? They Tennessee is 6 and 3 with a win over Arkansas. Tennessee is ranked by the playoff committee. Now, in this situation, Memphis would still make the playoff, but I think that first off, you're not going to have a group of 5 team ranked, and you are going to say the 5 highest ranked conference champions make the playoff poll or make the playoff. You continue to rank until you get to a group of 5 team, which is what they did, but you release those.
Right.
Like, is Memphis at 26 and y'all really are that dumb to put Tennessee in ahead, or are they at 30 because you've seen things that you don't like? Because
Like we should really know which one. It read to me like we don't want to paint ourselves into a corner if
yeah,
a group of 5 team gets hot at the end and looks like they should be ranked higher than the rest. That's all it looked like to me, which is a
honestly,
coward's move, and the committee's a bunch of cowards.
and it looked like they were trying to protect Boise again.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, I understand that Boise is a 2-loss team, but you have Navy as a 1-loss team going to play Notre Dame this week. So, like, if you want some backing to your ranking of Notre Dame, rank Navy
rank
as a
Navy. Yeah,
as a 1-loss group of 5 team to say Navy has a ranked win here. Because currently, how many ranked wins does Notre Dame have?
0, I imagine.
Yeah, 0. They have 0.
Well, 1 USC. They beat USC.
Oh, okay. All right. Another team that you can make a
Arguably
very strong
shouldn't be
argument that
ranked.
should not be ranked, right? Um, so they have 1 ranked win. I just don't, and like
By the way, that is more ranked wins than Tennessee.
that's funny.
Yeah.
But so man, question: what? Who has worse PR, the College Football Playoff Bowl or committee, or Dabo Sweeney?
Oh, that's a tough one because golly, I mean, right now it's got to be Dabo, but
Does it?
right.
Because
In fairness though, this ranking that in terms of them doing their job, ranking the top 25 teams in the country, they were as successful as Dabo Sweeney has been this year. So
And
It's
so
a hard.
the big reason I asked, because if y'all are on social media, you saw the video of the College Football Playoff Committee, and we all know that the reality of what happened is there was some intern with a box of hats 5 feet behind the camera. And these guys pick up a hat, put it on, they get in frame, and they take their hat off and put it on a hat rack because they don't all have perfectly clean white college football playoff hats.
Mm-hmm.
That was just as cringy as anything Dabo has done this year because at least Dabo's funny with it and kind of has balls because he did essentially ask to get bought out last week.
Yeah, basically.
And Clemson doesn't have the balls to do it. So, anyways, BYU and Texas Tech.
Yeah, let's get to the game we're trying to talk about.
What is this? The 7 versus 8 matchup in the playoff bowl. Hopefully, the most entertaining game of the day is the top 2 conference and top 10 in the country matchup of some of the best teams in America's conference. Boy, I wonder what I was on when I wrote that sentence. I know that BYU is the undefeated team here, but offensively, Texas Tech is the higher scoring team, 43.6 points per game compared to 36.3 points per game. Better passing team, 294.4 yards per game compared to 216.8 yards per game. The more explosive team, Texas Tech is top 5 in long plays from scrimmage compared to BYU at 47th. But BYU does have the better rushing attack, 216.63 yards per game compared to 197.89. On the defensive side of the ball, they're both top 16 in scoring, Texas Tech being 5th, BYU 16th. Texas Tech does have the better rushing defense, the best rushing defense in the country, only allowing 74.56 yards per game.
That's pretty good.
That's insane. That's 2021 level Georgia insane.
Yeah. I would be curious to see what their average opponent's rushing offense ranking is, but obviously we don't have time to get into that now.
No, but I can do that research pretty quickly. So remind me later before this game, and I'll put that out.
Yeah. Okay, you keep going. I have a wheel that has fallen off of my chair that I'm going to fix while you keep talking.
Okay. BYU is allowing 129.38 yards per game, so still good, but not quite Texas Tech level. They're 10 spots within each other in passing defense. BYU 28, Texas Tech 36. And for this game, I've struggled to find significant differences between these teams. Obviously, we have Texas Tech passes better, Texas Tech stops the run better, but everything else is fairly close. But Texas Tech has spent really good money when it comes to getting after the quarterback this year. They're averaging 3.11 sacks per game, which is good for 10th nationally, and BYU is 64th in the country in that same statistic. Penalties is another spot where they are somewhat different. Texas Tech is more undisciplined at 6.9 penalties per game, and Texas Tech or BYU is at 6.6. So not too much different, but still difference. So the biggest difference comes down between the 2 quarterbacks. Texas Tech, Baron Morton, who is back, should be fully healthy in this game. He's a typical Red Raider gunslinger, while BYU has a quarterback that disrespects all of the sport of football by wearing the number 47. And just, if it's not clear, I think Texas Tech wins this game. And I will say 50% of the reasoning is that I think Texas Tech is a better team with Baron Morton healthy. Their only loss is where he didn't play in that game. It is in Lubbock. 25% of that is for the Big 12 to get 2 teams in and more than likely spurn Texas and or Oklahoma. Texas Tech cannot have 2 losses of the regular season. They would have the exact same record with Texas Tech having the head-to-head win if Texas Tech wins this game. 25% of the reason that I think Texas Tech is going to win this game is because Bear Bachmeier wears number 47, and that is disgusting. guns up. Straight up pick Texas Tech. Cover, I hate the 10. I think this is a much closer game than that. But I could also see Texas Tech winning by 30. Like, I have no idea. I do think they win, but I have no idea what the score is.
Gotcha. I will say at least Stetson Bennett, when he started moving up the depth chart, had the decency to change his number.
He did.
Um, he did.
Because 22 would have also been disgusting.
Yeah, it would have been less disgusting than 47, but still disgusting.
Yes.
Look, there are a lot of places in college football where paying for a super talented roster isn't necessarily enough to win a lot of games by itself. But the Big 12 is apparently not one of those places. Because Texas Tech has just, when healthy at least, they haven't just been beating the Big 12 teams on their schedule. They've been absolutely blowing them out of the water. BYU is shaping up to have a very similar finish to their finish last season, where they started 9-0 and somehow didn't make the playoff. I think we're going to see another Texas A&M style November collapse, and Red Raiders completely roll.
Yeah,
How did I say the word completely there? I had the alliteration in the notes, and I just ruined it.
it's fine. All right. If they listen to this podcast, do you really think they know what an alliteration is? I love y'all.
But yeah, he's not
You
wrong.
probably do. Man, we just talked about Harry Potter books for 10 minutes. Y'all know what an alliteration is.
Well, yeah, the only people who don't know what alliteration is who listen to this podcast are the ones that criticize the nose ring when they don't have an actual point to talk about.
Which happens so often. And it's like,
it's weird.
all right, guys, if you listen to the podcast for a long time, y'all know I have a lot of head injuries. And legitimately, one day I was talking to Kelsey and I was like, I think I might get my septum pierced. She's like, really? I don't know. And like 3 days later, I was like, I thought about it for 3 days. I'm gonna do it. What happens? I don't like it. I take it out.
Yeah.
Skin grows back, y'all. It's not that serious. And by the way, for all the people that get mad about the nose ring, Kelsey is my wife who was born a woman. Just to make that clear. Because y'all's favorite thing to do is talk about how I'm gay because I have it. No, I have been married to a woman for 7 years, maybe 8, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, talking about hopefully being married to women. Texas A&M at Mizzou. And
that's a good try at a transition there.
Well, I went to a different senior military academy that wasn't Texas A&M, and even among the cult network that was senior military academies, Texas A&M was more of a cult because every other school at least had women.
Fair.
Texas A&M's, at least their corps of cadets, I have yet to see a woman. So
fair.
Just saying. But A&M are 7-point favorites, over under 48.5. The only hope that Mizzou has in this game is for Matt Zollers to live up to the hype early. He was a 4-star number 9 quarterback in the country, but he is still a true freshman. And to go back on the positive for Mizzou, Texas A&M is 47th nationally, allowing 67 total long passing plays this season. Mizzou has the wide receivers to take advantage of that. Kevin Coleman is a phenomenal wide receiver for them. And I think this is a throw the kitchen sink type game for Eli Drinkwitz and Kirby Moore. What else can go wrong? What do you have to lose? And there have been multiple games this season where this A&M defense has given up more than 200 rushing yards. One was UTSA, one was Arkansas recently. But man, there's just something about A&M that has surprised me this year. And I say that because from an outside perspective, the team is enjoying playing football, right? Like they're undefeated team enjoying playing football. It's not something that you see it at this stage of the season because a lot of guys feel pressure and the coaches feel pressure and they continue to put themselves in that pressure cooker. But they're not in almost panic mode like we have been as Georgia fans when when we've watched an undefeated or almost undefeated season. And maybe that's because A&M hasn't had enough the other shoe drops kind of seasons where you're undefeated going into November and then you lose a game, you lose the SEC championship, and suddenly
You're
you're
in the Pop
number
Tarts Bowl.
six. Yeah, like it. But
That
they,
2012 season still anyway.
yeah. Um, all the A&M players seem happy. Like
Yeah.
nobody's. No, it doesn't matter if they just gave up a 90-yard passing touchdown. They're just like, yeah, we'll get it back. And
One might
the
say they're focused and they're having fun.
yeah, and everybody from the coaches down to the fans are enjoying this. And Mike Elko, I know he was mad at the defense after giving up like 270 rushing yards against Arkansas, but they still won by multiple
Yeah.
possessions, and no one was stressed out in that game. And it's as a Georgia fan, where Kirby has raised the standard of the program, it is uncomfortable to see people enjoying an undefeated season late into the year.
Yeah.
Like what do you mean you're not worried about this game? Because going to see Como's naked is dangerous.
It sure is.
Um,
Trust us.
right.
Talk about an undefeated season going through Como.
I will say for Mizzou though they've had two quarterback injuries this year. They do have the best running back in the SEC in Ahmad Hardy. They've got a decent enough O line. They have really good wide receivers. You got all that, and it's still not enough to win this game. I do think it's close, but I think A&M covers the 7 because I think it's like a 10-point game where Mizzou's driving with like 4 or 5 minutes left, and they get past the 50, and the true freshman quarterback makes a mistake, and A&M's able to run it out from there. But it's close, it's dangerous, and it's still not enough, kind of thing.
So far this season, I have doubted Texas A&M twice, and twice Texas A&M has proven me wrong. So obviously, the wise thing to do would just be to stop doubting them and pick them to win this game. That's just what they want me to do. I don't think so. The November collapse is coming to the Aggies. Mizzou's defense finds a way, if nothing else, just to give us different picks on one of these games.
That's fair. Yeah. Because boy, all right, so this next game. We're talking about LSU going to Tuscaloosa. Bama's 10-point favorite. I don't know how it's that low. Um, over under 49.5. And this one is rough because on paper, in the preseason, with as much doubt as I had in LSU's defense and Alabama's offensive line, I still thought this was going to be a good game, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, but in all reality, the Alabama's just like we're talking about brick by brick dismantling of the foundation of what LSU thought they were, is what I'm predicting. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the uglier LSU Alabama games of this century. And I like look, I big interim energy is something that we have hyped up multiple times on this show. I don't think Joe Burrow and the Honey Badger could share head coaching duties and get big interim energy enough to be what they need with the way that offensive line and Nussmeier and that running game and the defense has played in times when they've played good offenses. Like I don't think any of that would be enough. It's just this is going to be a demoralizing game for anybody that uses EAUX instead of O in words. Like I'm sorry, y'all. It's going to be sad.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to do what Florida tried to do, right? They said, okay, we got a bye week before our biggest game of the year. Maybe if we let go of our coach and bring in an interim, some good things might happen for us. -10 is crazy as a line. I would take the under on 10 for a team total for LSU.
Facts.
Absolutely. Uh, but no, I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. Alabama is going to dominate this game. It's not going to be remotely close.
And I do want to be clear. I think we both hope that we're wrong.
Oh yeah, nobody would laugh harder than me if LSU pulls out this game.
And especially like with the funniest outcome possible that we're gonna get back
Hmm.
to this week.
Hmm.
Um, just it would be so nice. It
Oh
would.
yeah, man. Imagine LSU and Mizzou both winning this week, and Penn State.
Hold on. All right. Give me just a second because I have the SEC tiebreaker calculator.
Okay.
I do, which whoever does this, it is a saint. Um,
Yeah, I will say I don't know if it's the program the same way as last season because it wasn't 100% when I used it last season, but it was pretty daggum close. It would get the top
yeah.
few at least.
Um, so fun fact: if LSU wins this weekend and Texas A&M
Mhm.
wins this week or loses this weekend, so that's an Alabama and A&M loss, and the rest of the season stands pat. Number one in the SEC, Alabama, one conference loss. Number two, Georgia, with wins
Mhm.
over Ole Miss, Alabama.
Not
Number three,
Alabama.
nope, below Alabama, above Ole Miss is what they say here.
Yeah.
Number three, Ole Miss, with Georgia below Alabama and all the conference win percentage and Georgia head to head. Number three. Then it would be Texas at 6-2 with losses to Florida and Georgia.
Huh.
And A&M would be 6-2 because Texas is still currently favored over A&M. And that's just so funny.
Yeah.
It even if A&M wins that game in Austin, if they lose this weekend, they're still fourth. Just
That's sad, but very funny.
and so if y'all are looking for the website that I just referenced, it is um here we go. bball.notnothing.net. Um it's the closest thing you can get to without doing the math and looking like the conspiracy
Okay.
theory always sunny guy.
Yeah, this
Um
is not the one that I used last year.
yeah.
So you do have to go in and like pick the sport and pick the conference, but then okay, wow, this is very detailed.
Oh yeah, and there's like you can change just one game. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So
Whoever
it's
Imred
okay.
is, the guy's
So
Reddit name is Imred. Just awesome. All right, so getting into the Georgia game, and back into the interview that we put out Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. I lost so much confidence with every word Sarthik said.
that's pretty typical for you with these interviews.
It is. Why I do this to myself, I have stopped enjoying most of football season because of doing this. It's pretty awful. I don't understand why I continue to do it, but I do. So we got the Bizarro Dog Bowl. Georgia going to Stark Vegas. Georgia 9.5 point favorite. Over under 56 and a
I've
half.
seen that go down to 7.5 in a lot of places.
I
A
updated
lot of
this at
money
like
on Mississippi State.
3:30.
Okay, well you might be right then. I've
Well,
I've seen 7.5.
it went 8.5, and I'm assuming back up to 9.5, and then back down to 7. I love 7.5, so we'll pretend it's 7.5 regardless.
Yeah.
Um, so
ESPN still has it at 7.5. So
okay, so Georgia minus 7.5, over under 56.5. And this is the definition of a trap game, and not just because of the spot being between Florida and Texas. Florida, obviously your biggest rival. Texas, the biggest game for the rest of your schedule. But I'm going to be honest, y'all. This Mississippi State team is set up to take advantage of everything that Georgia has struggled with defensively this year. Um, like straight up, Georgia does not have a defensive back that can run with Brennan Thompson or Anthony Evans. Um, just they don't have one, right? So what does that mean? Um, for your defensive backs, they've got to mug those guys off the line where you have that room to press and beat them up 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, you've got to do it. Here's the issue. Georgia's been giving out more cushion than Mattress Firm this year. Like
Occasionally, like if you're talking about pre-snap lineup
yes,
cushion, it's when they feel like they have to.
right. And the only way that you're going to keep up with Brennan Thompson or Anthony Evans is to get a 10-yard head start. These are two of the
Yeah.
fastest guys in college football, not just the SEC. And Georgia hasn't been able to stop the bruising running backs in short yardage situations. And I say that specifically, they gave up a lot of yards to Jam Miller in that Alabama game. When Alabama needed 2 yards, they got 2 yards. Absolutely every time. And that's a concern because I think Fluff Bothwell is almost on the level of Jam Miller. And if they get into a position where they need 2 yards, I don't doubt that they can pick it up most of the time.
I will say the line to me had a lot more to do with that than just Jam, though. And I don't know that Mississippi State has Alabama's line.
I love your confidence. I've been high on Fluff Bothwell all season. I don't know if
Oh yeah, no,
I've
Fluff
seen
is great.
talk about him a whole
Yeah,
lot, but like
I'm not saying he's not great. I think he's fantastic. I think some higher ranked team needs to try to get him in the transfer portal next year just to steal.
yeah, like he is next season's Josh McCray
Mhm.
for some team out there.
Hopefully ours. Anyway,
But Mississippi State has struggled to protect the quarterback this year, right? They are 15th in the SEC in sacks allowed, only because Auburn exists.
yeah. Well, too bad we're Georgia.
Right. Georgia has not been able to get to the quarterback this season. Even against Auburn, Georgia got 1 sack in that game. And once again, Auburn is literally dead last in the entire country in sacks allowed, and Georgia got 1. That's also known as absolutely terrible. Like that's not just bad. That's abysmal. And I do think that for Georgia to take advantage of the weaknesses that Mississippi State has, they're going to have to get tough yards on the ground, like a 3 yards in a cloud of dust type yards on offense. They're going to have to continue to get Zachariah Branch looks beyond the line of scrimmage. They did that great in the last 2 games. Do we get a Mike Bobo turtle shell game? I hope not. I never put it past him. And I say that about Zachariah Branch because Ryan Wingo cooked this secondary. Same type of player.
Yeah.
Vernell Brown cooked this secondary. Same type of player.
Mm-hmm.
Former Mississippi State Bulldog Mario Craver cooked this secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Same type of player. I think Zachariah Branch can do it. I think Dylan Bell can easily do it because when you're talking about routes beyond the line of scrimmage, I do think Dylan Bell is a better route runner than Zachariah Branch. He's a little bit slower and probably doesn't have as good of hands, but as far as running cleaner routes downfield, I would give that to Dylan Bell.
Yeah. But either way, the biggest thing is I don't know if there are many teams that have the dudes to stop both of these guys, especially defenses that have already been cooked by individual guys all year.
Right. And I still, there's just, look, y'all know that I am neutral to verging on defending of Mike Bobo most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say if 50 is neutral, 100 is Mike Bobo, I'm probably like 60, 65 maybe. This seems like a spot where he turtles. And I have this nagging feeling in my gut that he just inside run, 3rd and 12 screen. Oh, we're punting again. I'm tired of seeing Brett Thorson's beautiful face get off the field. Like that's
now, in fairness, if you're going to do inside runs and screens, Mississippi State is the defense to do it against.
fair, but there's just something in the pit of my stomach that says we're gonna get a vintage in the worst way Mike Bobo game plan here because it's not in-game calling that's the problem. It's the game plan that's the problem for Mike.
Mm.
And like I think this game comes down to physicality, mental game, and clutch moments. Like by individual players, I think this is one of those where the leaders on the offense and the defense get themselves together and say, "Look, we have to be better than them." Is what it comes down to. And I hope and I pray that for some reason T. Rob, Dante Moore, and Glenn Schumann just think, man, like they're the second worst team in the SEC at protecting the quarterback, and their quarterback has the most overthrows in the conference. Let's just let KJ Bolden spy.
Yeah,
Let's just let him spy Blake Shapen and like, oh, I'm gonna watch. I am going to like your ribs are going to have the imprint of my shoulder pads after this game, kind of thing.
I will
Um,
say that is an awful lot of trust to put on the corners.
what the corners, Janelle Aguero and Ja'Cory Thomas.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Um, do I expect that to happen? I don't. If this is a game where you can just let the dogs eat, if there's any game, it's this one. I don't expect that to happen. I would love to see it.
Mhm.
But going back to physicality, mental game, and clutch moments, this Georgia team has had all those characteristics this season. They've had all those characteristics in louder and more electric environments than Starkville. I don't I don't doubt Starkville's environment. I don't doubt the cowbells, but Neyland Stadium's still louder and more raucous. And like I just and it doesn't help that it's an 11 a.m. local kick. I, I just I see I think we're gonna see the clutch Georgia that we've seen all season, and Georgia go from a cover of the 7.5 to a 17-point win late because that's what's happened to Mississippi State. It's been close. The defense has not been able to give it up, and then Blake Shapen holds on to the ball too long, gets sacked, throws an interception, whatever it is. They found more ways to lose, more different ways to lose than even Auburn has this year.
Yeah. They are reverse Georgia. They
Yeah.
snatch defeat from the jaws of victory pretty consistently. Now, would you like to hear some fun facts that might make you feel a little bit better about this game?
I would
Because I've got
love
some.
any reason to feel better about this game.
Yeah, so here's one. Even after the Florida game, Georgia, in terms of offensive efficiency, is up near the top of the nation in offensive efficiency. And now the site that I use still has them at number one, which means it's the best site and everybody should
Oh,
use it.
for sure. Like I don't know why
Um,
anybody's looking at anything different.
yeah, but there's something interesting about that makes it even more impressive. There is another advanced metric on this site that I use that will rank teams based on the strength of their average opponent's defense specifically. Think of it like as a defensive strength of schedule.
Yep.
Strength of
All
schedule
right. I
only for.
like it. I need you to text me this link.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it again later. But so I'm just gonna call it defensive strength of schedule just for the rest of this talk to make it easier. So Oregon, for instance, they have the second most efficient offense in the country. Defensive strength of schedule ranks 58th.
Oof.
USC is the third most efficient. Theirs ranks 72.
But hey, whoa, whoa,
Ohio,
whoa. The Big Ten's a defensive conference. That's why every game a
that's
total
what I
of like
keep hearing.
24.
Yeah, apparently not.
Oh,
Ohio State is fourth, and their defensive strength of schedule is ranked 35.
whoa. Ohio State's the best team in the country. Like that, we will not tolerate that slander. According to ESPN, they have a
Mhm.
better defense than 2021 Georgia. Like,
Right, it's just
get out of here with that noise.
hilarious. And then Ole Miss finished out the top five in offensive efficiency. They are number five. Their defensive strength of schedule is an impressive 29th in the country. Where, if you had to guess, would Georgia's defensive strength of schedule rank?
Florida and Alabama are both pretty good. Ole Miss, I'm going to assume is mid. Tennessee's probably slightly below mid. Kentucky's probably slightly above mid. I don't know if Austin P counts.
I don't know if it counts either.
Um, let's say around 28.
28. Okay, well, it is not 28. It's inside the top 25.
Okay,
It's actually inside the top 15.
shocking.
It's
Actually,
actually inside the top 10.
even more shocking.
It's actually inside the top 5. Number 4 defensive strength of schedule in the nation, producing the number 1 by some sites, the most efficient offense in the country. Others have them as low as 17. I don't care. It's number 1. This is important though, because do you happen to know where Mississippi State's defense ranks in terms of efficiency?
Are you able to count just the first three quarters?
I'm afraid not.
All right, then I'm going to say 86th.
You were very close, 79th.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
so they are allowing in SEC games an average of 35 points a game. So don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say that Georgia's about to drop 50 points in this game because I don't think they're going to do that. But I do think this offense is going to be in pretty firm control of the game. I think they're going to dominate on the ground. I think they're going to dominate time of possession and on third down and all the rest of those stats that Kirby's always looking for. I don't see this being a super high scoring game just because I think Georgia's just going to try to control the ball through the duration of this one, which isn't going to be very exciting to watch. But I do think it's going to leave room for a less close game than we're used to. The score prediction I gave earlier today was 28-17. That does sound right around correct to me. But regardless of what the score is, I think Georgia wins this game and covers by a few points by maintaining possession of the football and just making it very hard for Mississippi State to get back in it because they don't have a whole lot of control of when they're getting the ball back.
All right. Who has the higher rushing total? Nate Frazier or Chauncey?
Total. We're talking total yards or total carries?
Yards.
Yards. I feel like if I had to guess, Frazier gets more carries, but I think Chauncey Bowens has a couple of runs that go 10 plus yards, a couple more of those than Nate that make his yardage total go up.
All right. Dylan Bell or Zach Branch?
Again, I guess we're talking like total yards,
Yeah, yards.
rushing and receiving. I would give that to Branch. Still, I think Dylan Bell's gonna have a game though.
And over under 10.5 carries for Gunner, including scrambles. If he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage on an obvious scramble, that still counts, kind of thing.
Gotcha. I'm gonna say 10.5 is a lot, but I do think they're gonna try to really push the run game here. So yeah, I would take the over. That's a really good number though. You should work in Vegas.
Well, I used to be really good at beating their ass. Not so much recently. I will say my personal account continues to grow because and we're getting into best bets right now, but because on Saturday morning when I actually put bets in, if one of these numbers has changed to the point that I don't like it, I don't put money on it.
Mhm.
So what I tell you now and what I actually put money on Saturday morning are often not the same. But these are the numbers that I liked a couple of hours ago. So if you still can get these numbers, go for it.
Yeah.
But getting into best bets, my first one, and this is really a sicko's degenerate pick of the week. Boy, if y'all are watching this game, we need to be friends because I'll also be watching this game. And we got
So he must be talking about some kind of like 10:30 kickoff Mountain West Conference game that nobody's going to watch between 2 and 6 teams, right?
No, I'm going to talk about teams that both were predicted to make the playoff this year.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. And that, well, predicted to make the playoff by some. I will say I fell into one of the boats, but I was not in both.
yeah, yeah.
We're talking about Clemson -1.5 hosting Florida State. And Clemson has done one thing well this year, and that is stop the run.
Does Florida State need to run to be successful on offense? Is that something they have
That's
to do?
all they're capable of doing on
Ah, right.
offense. So, and don't be wrong, I fully expect Clemson to have 2 turnovers in this game. I expect one of the three-headed rushing attack from Florida State to get like 90 to 120 yards. But at the same time, like Florida State really just blew their entire load in week 1 and have been completely incapable of looking like a legitimate football team since. And
Yep, you're not wrong.
all right, so the next one, going into a little bit of Fun Belt action, we got
Ooh.
Coastal Carolina, the free concession school up in Dirty Myrtle.
The Knights battling each other at halftime school.
You know what? They can't entice you to come to games because of the football, but they can entice you to come to games for everything else. But they are hosting Georgia State, and they're favored by 7.5. And I'm taking Coastal Carolina here. And look, Del McGee, I apologize. And I appreciate everything you did at Georgia. But this team y'all got playing in Turner Field is like one of the last few Braves teams to play at Turner Field. Like I have seen more appetizing dog water than the brand of football y'all are playing right now. And I hate it, but you suck.
Valid.
And the next game I got Vandy -6.5 hosting the once again without a head coach Auburn Tigers. And Auburn sucked with legitimately one of the better play callers that we've seen over the last 20 years in college football. And I don't think Hugh Freeze is a good person. I don't appreciate anything that he's ever done. But he was one of the best play callers in the country at Ole Miss, at Arkansas State, at Liberty. Everywhere he went, they were scoring an average of 40 to 50 points a game. He gets to Auburn, and they can't score more than 10 points in most conference games. So I think the problem's Auburn and not Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
I think Auburn continues to be a problem, and Diego Pavia continues to attempt to make the playoff, which is now a long shot, but it's one of those Dumb and Dumber, you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, technically still possible.
Oregon.
You gotta hope Tennessee stays ranked until that last week, though.
Fair. Them and Georgia are hoping Tennessee goes on a disastrous run for everyone not named Tennessee. So we got Oregon -6 versus Iowa. Dan Lanning gets the boys up and going when they feel disrespected. And for Oregon to come in at 9, it is disrespectful. And I understand, I do understand the metrics, right? But you're putting a one-loss team that finished the regular season last year ranked number 1, that won the Big Ten. You're putting that team at number 9 because they lost to the best team in the country?
Right.
Like,
they're one spot above Notre Dame. They are above a Texas Tech team that sure didn't have their quarterback at the time, but has just been blowing out the Big 12 and lost one of those games in the Big 12 to a team that is probably not making a bowl game this year.
Yeah. Like I understand every stat you can throw at me. And did Oregon barely beat Wisconsin? Sure. Do I care about that? And would I still take Oregon on a neutral field over all but like 3 or 4 teams in college football. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, it does matter for Oregon to only be favored by 6 years. I think very disrespectful. Oregon being at 9 is disrespectful, and Dan Lanning comes from the Kirby Smart tree of everything's disrespectful. Make your defense hate life. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that's going to be embarrassing for Iowa, especially with a quarterback who still through 9 games does not have 1,000 passing yards. Next one, Indiana at Penn State over 50. And yes, the total for the game is 50 points. Penn State, they're on life support, running off of a generator that's about out of gas.
Mm.
Like they have very, very little left to live for. And Indiana, once again, is the best team in the country. 43-10? Is that absurd? Like Fernando
I
Mendoza's brother, who is the backup quarterback at Indiana, I'm pretty sure at this point has almost as many passing yards as the Iowa starting quarterback. Like that's the kind of football Indiana's been playing this season. And I think it continues this week. I think Happy Valley doesn't even have a sellout because people are so mad. And also, while this is the first time I've been able to fit it in, Josh Heupel is currently rumored to take the Penn State job in Tennessee. If you get mad enough at making the playoff for the first time and losing to the team that won the national championship, and then just an absolute quarterback disaster personality wise, leading you to like a 9-3, 8-4 season when y'all should have gone 6-6. If that attitude loses you the best coach you've had this century, you deserve nothing but the worst things. And
yeah.
that's what you're going to get. Because if you run off Josh Heupel, who are y'all going to get?
Yeah. Derek Dooley, like y'all would be the maybe
No, he's
eighth
going to have a
best
better
job.
job as politician.
Right, right. But yeah, Tennessee would probably be the eighth best job on the market at that point.
It would at least be the third to fourth best in the SEC.
Yeah.
And the fans drop it from second to wherever it lands.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I almost took that Indiana over because I think Indiana might hit that by themselves. But
Facts.
I got into some nice degenerate
I
Friday
just
night.
read the second line of yours.
Yeah, I know. I can explain. All right. So, degenerate Friday night action here. Memphis against Tulane. I'm taking Memphis minus the points. I get that a lot of people just kind of associate Tulane these days with a good group of five team. Tulane is not good this year. The Tulane experiment is not working out down there. I mean, they're fine.
Did you steal that name from somebody or did you come up with that?
Oh, I thought he's at the when the BYG went to Tulane. I just thought everyone was doing that.
I've never heard that before, and it could be because of my significant hearing loss. But
Well,
oh,
if I did hear it from
round of
somewhere, I
applause.
don't. Yeah, I don't. If I did hear it from somewhere, I don't remember it, but I don't feel like I can take credit from it because it's just copy and paste from one school to another.
Top two though.
Uh, guys, give me Citadel plus 53.5 against Ole Miss. Like, I saw this and like I understand Ole Miss has a tendency to just run the score up in their cupcake games. I get that. But if I see a 5 at the beginning of one of these spreads, I've got to. You're giving me 53.5 points.
Ironically, that is another senior military college rival of the school that I went to. So
Ah, makes
Citadel can
sense.
go to hell.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, like what Ole Miss is gonna put Austin Simmons in when they're up 40 and then stop scoring? Like, yeah.
Well,
Um,
that's actually entirely possible.
mhm. All right. I also bet on the Iowa Oregon game, but I did the Iowa team total under 17.5 because it's Iowa.
Now, Iowa has been scoring more points this year, but it's
Yeah.
because they're not just handing the ball off, their quarterback can also run.
Yeah, yeah. get an actual defensive mind for them to play against, then I'm not sure that goes the same way.
Fair.
And then similar, LSU team total under 19.5. Vegas expects LSU to score nearly 20 points against Alabama.
Now that's one that I probably will put money.
Yeah, LSU couldn't score 20 points in fake Death Valley against a Clemson team that just gave up 46 to Duke in their own stadium. Speaking of Duke, UConn plus 9.5 against Duke because I'm angry.
That's fair.
Yeah, I get that Duke is a 5-3 now, but the way they started the season, after I believed in you.
Boy, Baylor is my bandwagon team. Who you telling?
Yeah, fair. It all went so well. I guess that's what I get at least for trusting college football 26 sims with my bandwagon team.
Duke did just beat Clemson.
Yeah, they did. Duke
Shout
just
out,
beat the preseason ACC favorite, likely to get a first round bye in the playoff, Clemson.
shout out my wife's boss. So I went up there last Friday because obviously I work 410s. I have Fridays off, so I rode by the office last Friday, and I've got a really really good relationship with her boss. Like when we go to Georgia Southern games, we tailgate with him, and all that kind of stuff. And we're sitting there talking, and he's like, "Man, did you see that Duke is they're underdogs to Clemson?" And I was like, "What? Wait, what are you talking about? No,
Of course,
it's not possible." And sure enough, not just in the spread, but in the money line, significant underdogs.
yeah.
So I put a nice little chunk on that one, and Georgia Tech may not have won last week the first time I put money on them this year, but Duke certainly did.
Fair enough. Maybe since I've started angry fading Duke, because this is Caleb's barbershop handing out fades, they've started performing well. So maybe just keep it up, and then I still look great because my bandwagon team did okay.
Am I allowed to just continue to bet on Georgia Tech? So hopefully they lose.
I mean, that would be funny.
All right. I don't want to do that because another ranked win for Georgia would look real nice to get
Yeah,
to get
I
that
care less.
Memphis game at home.
Yeah, I think we get that anyway. But if we beat them, I think we get that anyway. But regardless, like I'm not a guy, and I've been telling people on Instagram
You're
this
not a
all
guy?
week. Let me finish my sentence. I'm a man. No, I am not a guy who looks at Georgia's schedule and says, "Man, I'd really like these teams to be good so that it looks better when Georgia beats them." Like in this format, if you're Auburn, if you're Florida, if you're Georgia Tech, if you're Texas, if you're whoever, if you're a fan base that's pissed me off, go 0-12. I want all of you to somehow go 0-12. That's
But
my philosophy.
what hurts worse for Georgia Tech specifically? Being 0-11 going into that game and knowing that you don't have a chance, or being
Or
10 and
having
1,
Georgia be the team that takes your soul.
or being
Eh,
10 and 1 and ranked 12th,
yeah.
and then Georgia's just just
That you know
beats
what? You're
you
right.
out
You
of the
yeah.
playoff entirely like
You've
that.
convinced me. You've convinced me. Okay. So let me revise my statement. I don't care about rooting for teams that we've already beaten to win games so we look better.
Okay, I like
But you're
that.
right. You're right. I want to take the soul of Georgia Tech. That sounds much better. You're absolutely
I like
correct.
that. I like that. And to bring it full circle, if they were 11 and 1 going into that game and just got the shit beat out of them, that would be a soul-splitting horcrux. Just
Oh.
I I own a piece of your soul now.
Yep.
It's mine. You don't get it anymore.
Yep, just like we own Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Historic Margaret Field at Bobby Dodd
Yes.
Stadium, which the game won't be played at because the engineers scheduled the renovations to start in the middle of the football season.
Right.
Um, just
But don't worry, they're getting plenty of cash from Invesco QQQ.
if you want to see my thoughts about that, go back to preseason, and the Step Brothers meme that was posted.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all listening to us. Rate and review the show 5 stars if you have a chance. Send it to a friend. Follow us on social media at nothing.finder.pod on Instagram, at finderpod on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Just look us up and you can find us there. We're going to start trying to post some more videos here soon. The Be honest, the reason we haven't done a lot of the live and social posting and videos and all that kind of stuff has been after like the first week after the wrist surgery I was okay, and then it started going downhill a little bit more and uphill. And the problem I have is I don't listen. So like I went back to work and started using my left hand, and that makes it to where when I get home, I don't really have a left arm, which makes it much more difficult to make graphics. But um, I've been slapped around by my wife a little bit, and I'm not doing that anymore. So we're trying to be smart, but we're going to try and get back on top of all that kind of stuff. So always remember, y'all, there's nothing finer in the land
Than a drunk, obnoxious fan of the actual good Bulldogs.